If you watched last night's debate and anything at all that happened surprised you in any possible way, then I got to ask, man, where have you been for the last 3 years? Like, what did people actually think was going to happen? I didn't think that I'd actually make a video about the debate because literally nothing surprising happened. And, just as I've been saying in basically every single video related to Joe Biden's cognitive decline or debates or Donald Trump or Kamala Harris or whatever, the only reason that this debate was so early was because it was an audition for Joe Biden. It's an audition to decide whether or not the Democrat Party are going to keep the guy. And I don't know how so many people on the left did not see this coming, but there were actually Democrats, Democrat voters, our fellow citizens, some of the guys here on this channel in the chat, some real intellectually compromised people all over the internet, but also, a lot of the mainstream Democrats, a lot of the talking heads on TV that I think actually really somehow believed that Joe Biden was fit, that he could literally show up and he could do it. And I thought they were full of it. I thought they were in full on gaslight mode, but I think they might have actually believed it, somehow, some way they actually believed it. So that's why I'm making this video. I am honestly surprised that these other people are actually surprised.
Anderson, this was a game-changing debate in the sense that right now, as we speak, there is a deep, a wide, and a very aggressive panic in the Democratic Party. It started minutes into the debate, and it continues right now.
And I think there's a lot of people who are going to want to see him consider taking a different course now. We're still far from our convention, and there is time for this party to figure out a different way forward if he will allow us to do that. But that was not what we needed from Joe Biden, and it's personally painful for a lot of people. It's not just panic, it's pain of what we saw tonight.
It's personally painful. Says the guy who cried and wept like a child, rambling on and on about how character matters and how telling the truth matters and how it's so much easier to be a dad today now that Joe Biden is president. Completely insane, completely ridiculous stuff. But that's the tune that this dude was singing when Joe Biden was elected, even though we were telling these people back then, that far back, probably before that, actually, that Joe Biden was in decline. He was not capable. He's not trustworthy. He's not honest. We told them then, we told them that he was every single thing. He was everything that he finally proved to them that he was and is last night. And now they're actually surprised. Some of them, they literally, I'm telling you, they seem sincerely surprised at what they saw last night. And that absolutely blows my freaking mind, man. And this is why you do not get high on your own supply. And that apparently applies to propaganda as much as anything else. These people are so deep into their role as party propagandists that they really, really did somehow believe that Joe was going to show up and he was going to have a handle on the issues and he was going to be able to talk and walk and that he was going to somehow put the old insurrectionist, evil would-be dictator Donald Trump in his place. They really, really did believe that. But obviously, I don't think any of you guys are surprised at what we saw. We got exactly what we thought we would get. But just in case you actually did not subject yourself to this.
A 10% tariff on everything that comes into the United States of America. What I did, when, for example, he wants to get rid of the ability of Medicare for us to be able to negotiate drug prices with the big pharma companies. Well, guess what? We got it down to $35 for insulin instead of $400 in a 10-year period. We'd be able to wipe out his debt. We'd be able to help make sure that all those things we need to do, child care, elder care, making sure that we continue to strengthen our healthcare system, making sure that we're able to make every single solitary person eligible for what I've been able to do with the COVID. With dealing with everything we have to do with. Look, if we finally beat Medicare.
Thank you, President Biden. President Trump.
Thank you. what I've done since I've changed the law, what's happened. I've changed it in a way that now you're in a situation where there are 40% fewer people coming across the border illegally. That's better than when he left office. And I'm going to continue to move until we get the total ban on the total initiative relative to what we can do with more Border Patrol and more asylum officers.
President Trump?
I really don't know what he said at the end of that sentence. I don't think he knows what he said either.
You can see he is 6'5" and only 223 pounds, or 235 pounds. Well, you said 6'4", 200. Well, anyway, that's what you're. Anyway, just take a look at what he says he is, and take a look at what he is. Look, I'd be happy to have a driving contest with him. I got my handicap, which when I was vice president, down to a 6. But by the way, I told you before, I'm happy to play golf if you carry your own bag. Think you can do it?
That's the biggest lie. That he's a 6 handicap of all.
I was at 8 handicap.
Yeah.
8.
Never.
But I had, you know how many?
I've seen you swing. I know you swing.
But let's
not act like children.
President Trump, we're going to
21
Let's not act like children.
Yeah, he's 100% right, man. There is no possible way that Joe Biden or any of the 16 people that helped him prepare for a week to deliver that performance know what the hell he just said. No one has a clue what he was saying. And it's crazy that there are people today that will tell you that Joe Biden gave a good performance, that Joe Biden is cognitively capable and emotionally stable and, capable in any way of being president. And I'm here to tell you, man, those people, they may as well be elder abusing the guy themselves. They are completely 100% culpable. I mean, there's no other way to describe it. What we are seeing with Joe Biden, with our country, with our government is 100% abuse. I mean, there's just no other way to put it. And the world saw it. Millions and millions of people watched this thing. And, the media can't turn around and call it a cheap fake or a deep fake or say that it was out of context or whatever gas they think the American people are dumb enough to believe. They can't do it. It was live. It was unfiltered and it was undeniably real. And now those same people that have been pushing cheap fakes and deep fakes and literally defrauding the American public daily with lie after lie after lie, every single one of those people is freaking out right now. And honestly, you got to give credit where credit is due. Jake Tapper and Dana Bash, they actually did a decent job. They did a fair job of moderating that thing. And I think that they did it because they recognized that this ship is sinking and they're not going to go down with it, right? And there's no doubt about it. The ship is without a doubt going down. And it's crazy, crazy to watch, man, because the same people that were all, posting all this garbage about how well Joe Biden was doing during the debate, they're now the very, very same people trying to come up with a game plan on how they can get rid of Joe Biden without relying on Kamala Harris.
Debate Spin Room, senior Washington correspondent Hallie Jackson and Kristen, let me begin with you. What are the headlines being written right now about this debate?
Well, Lester and Savannah, there's no way to sugarcoat this. This night got off to a tough start for President Biden. He delivered a performance that was at times halting. At times, he seemed to lose his train of thought. At times, he started to talk about one topic, for example, the economy, and then shifted to Afghanistan, which gave former President Trump an opening. And the topic of abortion, his strongest topic coming into tonight, he raised the issue of immigration, which gave former President Trump an opening. As the night progressed, he did begin to pick up steam. He had some really strong moments on the issues of what his administration, for example, has done for veterans. But zooming out, this was a debate about performance. This was a debate about allaying Americans' concerns about his ability to serve another 4 years. And I and a number of reporters at NBC News have heard from a range of Democrats who have said that they are concerned by tonight's debate. One telling me of this race, quote, "This is effectively over." This person predicting, look, Democrats are still going to stand by Biden, despite the fact that you do have some Democrats tonight wondering if that will be the case moving forward. But there has been some tough language that people have been reaching out to offer in terms of the performance that they saw tonight from President Biden.
Just listen to how they talk about it. They have real disappointment in their voice. They're talking about, well, there's just no way to sugarcoat this. And, basically it was about as bad as it could get. I mean, even the guy's handle on the issues they talk about, when they when he was asked about abortion, which is a propaganda-fueled weak spot for Republicans, admittedly, the guy was dumb enough to somehow bring up immigration. I mean, that's obviously not smart. And then when he was asked about the economy, he brings up the disastrous surrender in Afghanistan, which, of course, I mean, even Joe Biden would probably rather talk about the disaster that was Afghanistan before he talks about the disaster that is his economy. That actually almost makes sense. But on the Afghanistan note, the only thing that really offended me in the debate is we all know what happened. We all know that American weakness led to the death of 13 soldiers and Marines. But there was a point in the debate last night where Joe Biden claimed that he is the only president, essentially, I think he was saying ever, he was the only president ever that has never lost a service member. And honestly, I think that says everything about this guy and his level of care. He doesn't even remember losing those brave service members. Even after getting destroyed in the press for checking his watch as their caskets came home, he just doesn't remember it. But he claims it didn't happen, basically. And to that point, again, in all the fact checking done today, everyone's fact checking everything Trump. I haven't seen that get challenged at all. And here's the thing, man. These people are supposed to be unbiased observers. These are supposed to be journalists, but they are literally openly upset and scared and worried about what happens to Joe Biden next, or more accurately, what happens to their power next, because they all know that this is over.
The Biden campaign wanted and needed a compelling performance from their candidate. Did they get it?
If a voter, Savannah, was tuning in, looking to see about concerns being alleviated about President Biden's age or strength or capability for office, it is not at all clear that that is what they got from this performance by President Biden tonight, which was shaky. It was a shaky start, wooden at times, meandering at times. I will tell you that in about the back half of the debate, maybe the latter third of the debate, I heard from a Democratic lawmaker, a member of Congress who has been a strong supporter of President Biden's, who suggested the possibility, Savannah, of perhaps an open convention or replacing President Biden on the ticket. I will tell you it is all but potentially impossible for that to actually happen. But the fact that that is even being raised, the fact that that is even a shadow now hanging over the debate performance for President Biden is at minimum a headache for the Biden campaign moving into the next stretch of this campaign ahead of the Republican convention in the next couple of weeks.
That's actually not an impossibility at all. A contested convention is 100% without a doubt their plan. And it's been at least their backup plan for a very, very long time now. And I think now it is the plan, as Kamala would put it. And here's how it happens, man. It's actually pretty easy. They just start leveraging Joe Biden's family and basically everyone involved in his inner circle, because those people know exactly what is going on. They know exactly what state the president is in, and they know every hoop and every hurdle that they've had to jump through in order to hide what's going on from the American people. All they have to do is threaten to expose their culpability, and literally just truly embarrass them, which would destroy the Biden name and destroy the Biden legacy, if there is such a thing as a Biden legacy. But that's how they do it. They just give the option to the Biden family. We either destroy your legacy or you do the right thing. You give some speech about, what's good for democracy and good for the country and blah, blah, blah. And here's the funny thing, Joe Biden promised to be a uniter, and now he has the chance to do it, because the only thing that Democrats and Republicans seem to be able to agree on, right now at least, is the fact that Joe Biden has got to go.
This was a game-changing debate in the sense that right now, as we speak, there is a deep, a wide, and a very aggressive panic in the Democratic Party. It started minutes into the debate, and it continues right now. It involves party strategists, it involves elected officials, it involves fundraisers. And they're having conversations about the president's performance, which they think was dismal, which they think will hurt other people down the party in the ticket, and they're having conversations about what they should do about it. Some of those conversations include, should we go to the White House and ask the president to step aside? Other of the conversations are about, should prominent Democrats go public with that call, because they feel this debate was so terrible. They do say in moments in the debate later, the president got better and got his footing, but then at the end, even his closing statement was a little halting. The contrast between the two candidates. Let me be clear. None of them, and a lot of Republicans, don't think Donald Trump had a great night. Donald Trump broke the fact-check machine more than I can count tonight. That will be on the record as we go forward. He refused to answer some very specific and direct questions about his conduct, about January 6th and what all. So that will be dealt with out there. And sometimes there's a parallel universe between the political elites and the American people. It'd be nice to see what the voters say. But I can tell you, it started minutes in. It started with the first couple of answers, and it has continued throughout the night from a, oh, my God, oh, my God, oh, my God, to what do we do about this? And it involves very senior people in the Democratic Party, including elected officials, saying we have a problem.
Again, man, just listen to how these people think. Listen to how their brains actually work. You know, we all agree. Everyone agrees we have major, major, major problems, but listen to what they think the problem is. They think the problem is now the world knows what an absolute total disaster Joe Biden is. They think that's the problem. You know, it's not that we've got an incoherent, cognitively declining disaster sitting in the White House leading the entire freaking free world. That's not a problem at all. The problem is how that's going to affect their power. And not just the presidency, but now they're worried about the down ballot as well. I mean, we have an 80-year-old president who needed to train for a week. He sequestered himself for a week just to be able to maybe possibly not expose himself for what he is during a 90-minute debate. And he couldn't do it, you know. But again, these people do not think that's the problem. They think the problem is that we're going to see it and not allow him to continue leading the free world. I mean, it tells you everything you need to know about these people.
In a slight cold as well. So I understand not feeling well. And, you know, obviously Joe Biden comes in with certain deficits. He has a stutter. You know, it is more difficult for him to communicate for that reason. So there's a lot to mitigate the way that he speaks, and you can understand it. And we've observed him for a long time. That said, I, too, was on the phone throughout much of the debate with Obama world people, with Democrats, with people who are political operatives, with campaign operatives. My phone really never stopped buzzing throughout. And the universal reaction was somewhere approaching panic. The people who were texting with me were very concerned about President Biden seeming extremely feeble, seeming extremely weak.
Always back to the stutter that Joe Biden supposedly had 50 freaking years ago that he worked so hard to get over, right? I got to be honest. I listened very intently. I did not hear the guy stutter at all. Not one time. Stuttering was not his problem. And again, just listen to these people, man. They've been watching this guy for almost 4 years. A lot of these people have been in the room with him. And a lot of them, actually, probably most of them, if not every single one of them, have actively worked to cover up every single bit of this. So here's the thing. They are not panicking by what they're seeing. They're panicked by what we're seeing. And those are two very, very different things. But, you know, this was their initial reaction. That was the unfiltered, oh my gosh moment, even from people like Joy Reid. And I had a feeling that this was going to be the moment that brings down the Biden presidency. And I said in other videos, I think this is probably going to be the moment that starts to bring down the entire corporate media. And so far, I don't think I'm wrong. You know, they pushed too far, they tried to take too much. And even with as literally dumb as MSNBC and other propagandists have made their victims, even they aren't dumb enough to believe them now. But I mean, it sure as hell is fun to watch them make them try.
Well, and I know so many people watching do, and agree with you. And again, I've already said what I think of the man personally and think of his job. I will say, Willie, that for me, I've been in politics long enough and I've been around politics long enough to know that often time doesn't heal all wounds. And if this debate does not lead to serious discussions between Democrats and the president, then what you end up having is sort of this frozen political situation where Democrats then start convincing themselves 2, 3, 5, 10 days out that the guy in power, the guy that the people closest to power will suddenly, they'll start spinning and they'll believe their spin. And so I don't think that it's panic. I'm the first one. We talked about Democratic bedwetting last night. That is not this. This is like a war we see a political battle for democracy, and this is like losing a major battle. Is it panic after a war where a major battle is lost to say this general? Don't know if this general is up to leading the troops the rest of the way. But I mean, again, these are just things that Democrats are going to have to answer over the next couple of days.
You know, lucky for Joe Biden, Donald Trump actually highlighted this in the debate last night. They don't fire underperforming generals in the Biden administration. They don't fire people that are bad at their jobs. They actually, in many cases, they reward them. I mean, the only people I can even think of that they fired was that creepy Sam Brinton guy who literally got caught multiple times stealing ladies' underwear at the airport. I think that might have been the only person that was actually fired by the Biden administration, which really, when you think about it, with as feckless and as terrible as things have been, it's pretty terrifying. But it's also good news if you're Joe. They're going to bury their head in the sand and they're going to hope you forget all about this. They're just going to try and let it die down and hope that the American people are as dumb as they think they are. But until they find out whether or not that's true, they're going to freak out. They're going to find a way to cope. And honestly, I have a feeling there's going to be some pretty serious Democrat self-medicating.
Everybody calm down, and I'll tell you why. I mean, it's fine to not spin what happened last night, and we're not going to.
But by the way,
he had
Mika,
a terrible night.
Mika, everybody's calm here.
No,
you're the only one raising your voice.
No,
Everybody is calm here.
But again, it's the let's just immediately pull this. Let's end this. Let's find someone else.
That's not what Mike said.
That attitude toward this is what I am saying slow down on, because, again, there's no spinning it, but let's be balanced. Let's, for once, show some balance in a media world that is so shrill with imbalance that we've become inured to the difference between these two candidates. So let's put it this way. Gene Robinson, I'll go to you.
Well, wait. I just have to stop you. First of all, we always show balance.
We are, yeah.
Secondly, nobody's panicking. I said these were questions that Democrats and Joe Biden needed to ask themselves. And Mike said he missed one pitch down the middle after another and wasn't up to it last night.
Right, okay. He said wasn't up to it last night.
He said last night. So I will say that it's not panic. I mean, it's not being panicked. To understand what's at stake at this election and understand the window is closing very quickly. And if Joe Biden is not up to doing this, and if last night did not reveal that to you and other Democrats, then it needs to be revealed pretty soon.
You almost have to feel bad for these people, man. I think that they honestly somehow have been believing their own garbage. I mean, is that possible? Is it possible that they really, really, really did believe that Joe Biden's brain actually works? I mean, how is that even possible? I mean, honestly, I do not know what we're watching here. I feel a weird deal. I actually feel bad for these people. They're working through their own insanity, their hopes and dreams and worldviews all being destroyed right before their eyes. And they have to do it on live TV. You got to admit, that's a pretty tough deal. I mean, it's better than any reality show that I've ever seen, but this is what happens. This is what you deserve when you service the machine. This is what happens. Eventually, everything gets found out, and they're all getting found out right now. And that's a huge surprise, right? But it's funny. I mean, Joe Scarborough says that Donald Trump lied, that all he did was lie. Everything was a lie. We're fact-checking the lies. And that's honestly pretty remarkable to hear from the guy that actually said this.
Start your tape right now, because I'm about to tell you the truth. And F you if you can't handle the truth. This version of Biden, intellectually, analytically, is the best Biden ever. Not a close second. And I've known him for years. The Presidenskys have known him for 50 years. If it weren't the truth, I wouldn't say it.
But can he run for president in 2024? Donald Trump lied. Over and over and over and over again. And Joe Biden couldn't respond to any of those lies.
Honestly, man, we all know that Joe Biden, he is going to be held to account by the American people. They see what's going on. We see what's going on. And I cannot honestly imagine a scenario, any legitimate scenario, where Joe Biden gets to keep his job. But, we need to see some accountability in the media, man. These people have been, pushing cheap fakes and deep fakes and all the other absolute garbage they've been pushing for years and years and years now. Those are the people that need to be held accountable. I doubt they will be, but who knows? Maybe they will be. We could be seeing the end of the Joe Biden administration, right? I believe that. And we could also be seeing the beginning of the end of the corporate media structure. I mean, it's sort of hopefully we get some kind of rebound, reshuffle of the entire corporate media. And I hope that's the case. I hope that's exactly what we're seeing. Because when you all break it down, man, these people knew everything. They knew everything and they covered it up. And now here they are acting surprised. I mean, it's just insane. But that's just my take, guys. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. If you haven't already, be a part of our growth. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe. Most importantly, share the channel. I'll see you in the next one.